Welcome back everybody, my name is Knack930 and E3 is just around the corner. We spent last week going over games that I'd love to see announced at E3, but let's take a step back and be a bit more realistic this week and simply look at the top 10 games that are already announced and will likely be seeing more in-depth hands-on gameplay footage of this year. Number 10, Knack 2. My number 10 pick for this list is a sequel to an underwhelming PlayStation exclusive. Knack had potential when it released alongside the PS4 launch, but it failed to deliver more than an incredibly basic platformer with repetitive button mashing sequences. The sequel promises to expand on the gameplay significantly with more advanced platforming, more variety in combat, and a bigger overall scale. I'm looking forward to seeing if this franchise manages to make a huge comeback, and we'll likely see a lot more gameplay footage at Sony's conference. Number 9, Destiny 2. Destiny 2 was revealed a few weeks ago with a full gameplay reveal showcasing more of what we'd come to expect from this franchise. With more unique locations, expanded universe, and a full PC release planned, Destiny 2 plans on improving on everything that made the first game so successful, while still retaining its addictive, if not repetitive, gameplay. Number 8, Far Cry 5. Ubisoft just recently showed off the next in their long-running series of open-world shooter games. Far Cry 5 was revealed to take place in the rural countryside of Montana, with the main protagonist facing off against a wild religious cult that has taken control of a fictional Hope County. The game will feature flyable airplanes, helicopters, a dog companion, and full 2-player co-op, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that game. Number 7, Crackdown 3. Microsoft announced this game a few E3s ago, and we've seen very little on it ever since. Crackdown will feature some of the best dynamic destruction in a video game since Red Faction, and it will take advantage of a cloud network to help maximize computing power necessary to process all of that destruction. From the footage I've seen, it looks like it's very early along in the development process, but if done right, it could be a very fun game and potentially a system seller for the Xbox Scorpio. Number 6, The Last of Us 2. Now, while I do want to see more of this game, considering the first game is listed as one of my favorite games of all time, I didn't make this my number 1 pick because I really don't want Naughty Dog spoiling that much of this game with an extended gameplay preview. I don't really need much to convince me to pick this game up. I'm already pretty convinced considering their track record, but it would be cool to see a trailer with a short montage of gameplay clips just to get an impression of what this game has to offer. We already know what Naughty Dog is capable of, and personally, I'd prefer if they kept as much of this game under wraps as possible. It seems to work pretty well for Rockstar Games after all. Number 5, Battlefront 2. One of the most exciting multiplayer games I can't wait to see actual gameplay footage of is DICE's sequel to Star Wars Battlefront. The first game has obviously been met with an overwhelming amount of criticism due to its lack of content and over-reliance on paid DLC to extend the experience. But I have faith that Star Wars Battlefront 2 will help fix the community's impression of DICE and EA handling the franchise, and hopefully we'll get a far better game this time around. According to DICE, we're going to be getting an extended look at a full 40-player match online at the Battle of Naboo, with clone troopers and battle droids fighting it out. Number 4, Call of Duty World War II. Another franchise that really needed a comeback was Call of Duty. After Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty definitely needed a reboot, and it looks like we're finally getting that. Call of Duty is going to be returning to its World War II roots with limited sprint, no health regen, and more brutal and realistic combat. Here's hoping the new Call of Duty finally does something different after the franchise sitting on the same concepts for over a decade. Number 3, God of War 4. Last year, Santa Monica Studios showed us a brief glimpse at their new vision for the God of War. He's much older and much more grounded, with less of a focus on arcade combat and taking more of a Tomb Raider, Uncharted take on storytelling as Kratos helps teach his son how to hunt in the wild. Based on the gameplay footage that was shown last year, it does appear that this new God of War will be semi-open world, kinda like how the Batman and Tomb Raider games are handled, so that definitely introduces some promise. Though I hope the game picks up pace dramatically and we're still thrown into some crazy epic battles with giants and Norse gods. Number 2, Assassin's Creed Origins. Ubisoft finally took a hint after Assassin's Creed Syndicate that the world needed a break from the Templars and Assassins and gave us a full year off. Now, after several leaks and rumors, Assassin's Creed Origins is right around the corner and about to be revealed officially. Based on the rumors and the leaked images alone, it's pretty safe to assume that the game will feature an ancient Egyptian setting and will allow players to climb iconic locations like the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx. Despite all the leaks, details are still pretty thin, and I'm curious to see how they plan on tying in an organization that was supposedly formed during the Third Crusade, and suddenly having origins in ancient Egypt nearly 2,000 years before then. I'd also like to see what gameplay adjustments have been made after a year off that will help this game stand out from the rest. And before I reveal my top pick, here's a few honorable mentions. And my number one pick for game I'm most excited to see more of at E3 is Sony Ben's Days Gone. Days Gone is another survival horror game filled with zombies, which you'd think we'd be tired of at this point, but for some reason, this game seems to be delivering something that we rarely see in these games. These zombies are going to be fast and are going to populate the screen in overwhelming numbers. Coupled with the promise of an open world environment and crafting abilities, Days Gone could be PlayStation's much more hardcore version of the Dead Rising franchise, and I can't wait to see more of what this game has to offer. And those are the games I'm most excited to see more of. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more top 10 videos posted every week, and I'll see